husband's heart belongs to another woman, and she knows it. But she doesn't want to let go. What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Weekdays on SoapNet.
Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. Rafe and Allison finally come face to face.
You're really here.
You know me.
I missed you so much. I have to find a way to stop it.
But Livy will do anything to keep them apart. What would you do? Watch what she does.
I'm going to take care of this problem.
And see if you're right. Port Charles. Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet.
Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. She's about to lose her husband.
I pray to God that you remember how much you love me.
To the woman from his past.
She'll never have Rafe.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
I have to get pregnant. It has to be tonight, Libby.
What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles. Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet.
Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. He's drawn to a woman he doesn't know.
There can't be an us.
Can't run from this.
And committed to a woman he doesn't love.
You don't want this baby.
Why do you just keep fighting when in your heart you know?
You know what, Rafe? Say it! Go on!
What would you do? Watch what he does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet. Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. She made a deal with the devil.
I did what I had to do, and now I really am pregnant. And Rafe never has to know that this baby isn't his.
But now she wants out.
What is happening to me?
Libby, you okay?
What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet. Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. They thought it was an accident.
She was like pushing me, almost like she really wanted to fall down the stairs or something.
She thought she had them fooled.
We're gonna get through this together. I'm not going anywhere.
But someone's onto her.
Oh, Libby, I've got you now.
What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet.
He's tormented and terrorized the people of Port Charles, but this week his cover is blown.
I know what you are, and I will fight you to the end.
Port Charles Torn.
Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. She did everything to keep them apart.
I'm just trying to make a life with the man I love. Is that really so terrible?
But it wasn't enough.
There's nothing going on between me and Allison.
You lied to me, Rafe.
What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet.
Karen's got it all. A gorgeous guy and a great relationship. But she's still got it bad for her ex. And he's trouble. What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Weekdays on SoapNet.
She came face to face with danger.
What do you want?
Do as you're told.
And it could be deadly. Port Charles Torn.
Coming up next, watch Port Charles. Desperate to discover the truth.
The shroud has to be where the Avatar gets his powers. It's like a lifeline.
How do we trap him long enough to rip it off his head?
They found the perfect pawn.
We can use Karen to lure the Avatar out in the open, and then we can trap him.
Will they discover the one they've been fighting is one of their own? Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Coming up next, only on SoapNet.
Livy's using Frank to get what she wants. But now she's trapped because he wants something in return. What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Weekdays on ABC Daytime.
Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles.
Okay, let's go.
He's been caught.
No!
And it's Libby's only chance for freedom.
When I do get out of here, and I will, it will be the worst day of your evil, twisted life.
What would you do? Watch what she does.
I am capable of killing you.
Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4, only on SoapNet.
Next, watch the Port Charles Marathon. A deadly threat.
You're a treacherous woman, Livy, and I will have my justice on you.
An innocent victim.
I've given my father a drug that could make him go crazy.
A vow of revenge.
You have to pay for your crimes, and I know them all.
Port Charles Torn. Watch this week's Port Charles Marathon. Coming up next on SoapNet.
Jamal and Ricky both want Marissa, but she's totally torn. They're hot, they're sexy, and they're brothers. What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles, Torn, weekdays on ABC Daytime.
If what is right is to stay with Libby and the baby, then why does every second I am away from Allison feel wrong? I've got to learn the truth before it rips us all apart, and no one will stand in my way.
Port Charles this week. Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. Libby's had enough.
Would you get your hands off my
husband?
Libby. I am asking as your wife. Please give her up.
And Allison better watch out.
I need you to do something for me. I want you to get Allison away from him.
What would you do? Watch what she does.
Hi, Allison.
Port Charles Torn.
Is there anybody out here?
Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4. Only on SoapNet.
Allison finally has the chance to give her heart to the man she loves. But it could end up devastating them both. What would you do? Watch what she does and see if you're right. Port Charles Torn. Weekdays on SoapNet. Weekdays at 4. Watch Port Charles. She did everything to destroy their love.
What did you do to Allison?
Give me a lie detector. I don't know anything.
But can true love ever die?
I remember everything.
I've waited so long for this moment.
Port Charles Torn. Watch Port Charles. Weekdays at 4, only on SoapNet. Weekdays at 4, watch Port Charles. Will Allison survive heartbreak?
Please let me go get you some help.
I will love you.
Will Livy pay for her sins?
I never stopped wanting you.
You make me sick.
Will Ian destroy the Avatar?
I'm right here. Come and face me.
Port Charles Torn. Weekdays at 4, only on SoapNet.